Hello, true believers, and welcome to the bi-weekly Pirates Corner. This is Pirates Corner number 12, believe it or not. And I'm recording this a few days before Fanfest 2026. And this will be the first Fanfest since 2015 that I will not be attending. And I'm going to get to Fanfest thoughts and observations here shortly, so bear with me. But if you see, I'm wearing my Stay Frosty hat and my Stay Frosty shirt today because this week was our 13th birthday. Stay Frosty was formed on May 6th, Capsuleer Day, 2013. That was not by mistake. That was the plan from the beginning. When my son and I came up with the idea of starting Stay Frosty, which stemmed out of a previous Pirates Corporation that we had founded called Lucifer's Hammer. And that's a little bit of an unknown backstory there. A few years before we had founded Lucifer's Hammer in Syndicate and moved through various things. We were, for a time, in Rote Capel, for a time in Ninja Unicorns, and for a time living in Lisbethane, next to Shadow Cartel in Aishi, and then hanging out with them and the Tuskers, running fleets together, especially on Sunday nights. We would go on Shadow Cartel, Tusker combo roams together. This was a long time ago. Catching carriers, doing missions. Yeah, that's how long ago that was. And then I had spent a year hiding out in the Tuskers while my life was turning upside down and backwards and crazy things were going on. And we were sitting in the living room one night talking about what to do and thinking about all the lessons that we had learned moving around New Eden for those few years. 5 years, starting playing Eve, being in Wars in Providence, moving to the Spire, moving to Syndicate, moving to the Great Wildlands, moving up north for a time in the Big Blue Donut of Nullsec, doing a little bit of everything, trying our hand at mercenaries and trying to, start our own corporations, our own alliances, starting an alliance called Burnaway. When we were in Dissidents, we had learned a lot about the game, about mechanics, and about what we enjoyed doing in the game. And it was quite clear that the pirate life was for us, and for me especially. And that's when Stay Frosty was born. Now, that was probably about 3 or 4 months before we actually pulled the trigger on it and did it, because we had a lot to think about and a lot to set up. And there was a lot of drama going on at the time. So that was also driving a lot of it too. So 13 glorious years ago. A lot has happened over the last 13 years to Stay Frosty, to a band apart. I think, it's easy. I think some people forget that I am, or maybe don't even know that I am the CEO of Stay Frosty and also the Alliance Executor of a Band Apart Alliance, of which Stay Frosty and Lucifer's Hammer are the main corporations. We have about 350 pilots in our alliance. So we're not huge. We're not small. We probably punch above our weight class quite a bit. And speaking of that, punching above our weight class, something else happened this week. I was hoping that it was going to happen on May 6th, but you can't plan these things. And as it turned out, it may have happened a few days before, and we didn't know about it, because it's a bit of a trick on how Ezekiel counts kills, and that is we passed 100,000 frigates removed from the game, if you want to call it that way, and the difference is that in total it's 100,069, but the way Ezekiel works is that some of those over the 13 years have been marked as padding. I'm not sure what they were. I don't know the story behind them. I don't know which kills those were. I'm not going back through 100,000 kills to find out. And so there were two ways of looking at it. I made the command decision to award that honor to one of our pilots, Stickleback. Congratulations on taking out a hook bill and scoring the 100,000th frigate. Now, as far as I can tell, other than, of course, there's always an exception when it comes to low sec kills because of red versus blue. So they certainly, their corporations, red and blue, certainly lead many stat categories, being a unique condition of Eve for a long time. So beside them, I think that we are the first corporation to reach that goal, but perhaps not. Who knows? I did a little digging on some old corporations that are still around, and probably 10 or 15 of them that I could think of off the top of my head that I knew about, like Karma Fleet, the Tuskers, and others, Immortalis, a few others, and we seem to be the only ones who've done it. So that's pretty cool. It's a milestone. It doesn't mean anything really. It's just a point of pride for us because we continue after 13 years to maintain a very healthy split between solo and small gang activity in LOSEC as a pirate corporation, and pretty much a 50-50 split between the two, with over almost 230,000 total kills. So 100,000 frigate kills represents about 43% of our total, which is pretty cool. And we're solo and small gang people. That's our focus. That's what we do. We step outside of that every once in a while. Last weekend, we did Blops. We dropped the Blops fleet on the Gate Camp in Tama and Sujarento and other places. We had some fun doing that. This past Saturday, as part of our 13-year celebration, we took out a really nasty gate camping fleet in the insurgency, and we got some nice kills. I'll be posting some of those as shorts in the coming week. So I just wanted to shout out to all of the current, former Stay Frosty pilots. There's a lot of us out there, and it's a family. It always has been. When people show up and want back in after who knows how many years, they're welcome with open arms. You will often see people running alliances and corporations in distant corners of New Eden who have Stay Frosty on their employment list, and that's something that we take a great deal of pride in. Our pilots are exceptional pilots, and shout out to all of them, currently and former, who are out in the real world now, who aren't even playing Eve anymore, so considered friends of ours. So I just wanted to touch on that. It's a big thing that happened this week. Capsuleer Day makes it easier to remember Eve's birthday and Stay Frosty's birthday being on the same day. So shout out to Stay Frosty, to all the pilots who fly with us and who have flown with us in the past. Thank you. That's a big deal. 13 years, I never would have imagined, because I would never have imagined that, 18 years I would be playing this whatever it is you want to call it, game experience. That doesn't make any sense, but it does, because it doesn't seem like, if you were an Eve player, you understand. It feels like I can't imagine not playing it or not experiencing it on a daily basis. It's just a universe of its own. It's not just the game. It's not just logging in. There's more to it than that. My DMs are constantly busy. I'm constantly talking to people, helping them, solving problems, talking about plans, talking about Fanfest. We're doing these videos every 2 weeks now, which is a much better schedule for me. Trust me. With the podcast, with the videos that I'm putting out on my YouTube channel, Thanks to everybody who's subscribing. I appreciate it. And so let's get on to this week. In a few days after I post this, Fanfest will be happening. And like I said, for the first time in a long time, since 2015, my wife and I will not be attending this year. That's a long streak. And on top of that, we did Vegas in there, Amsterdam, Toronto. I'm forgetting something. We had 5 Steel City Eves at our home during that time, and we even went on an Eve cruise to Alaska, and that was an amazing trip with about, I don't even remember, 25 Eve players on that cruise. That was pretty awesome. Still something that we remember quite fondly. We did a lot of the world tour in that year, even in the year where there was no FanFest and it had been canceled because of COVID. We ended up going for almost 2 weeks in the summer because we had never seen Iceland in the summertime, and we ended up traveling up north and bumping into, talk about random. We were in Akiri, which is a far north central Iceland city, and we ran into an Eve player who is from Germany, and I won't mention his name because I haven't asked him if that's okay, but we met and had lunch with him. He was hiking around Iceland in the summertime, and we just happened to run into each other. We knew that was going to happen, but talk about a world in which you can essentially throw a dart at the world map, and there's probably an Eve player that lives near there. I always say that if I got lost pretty much anywhere in the world, I think that there would be an Eve player who could help us. So that's kind of a cool thing and unusual, but we are missing out on FanFest this year. So it turned out to be a good year to miss, given certain things that have happened. And I hear stories that perhaps Titan Forge will be having another board game to unveil, which I'm curious to hear about. And there's a lot of things on the schedule, not least of which we talked about on the podcast, is the name change, the independence, the removal from Pearl Abyss. Eve is independent again. There's a minority stake that was Google DeepMind took over. So we got a little Google in us now. From what I've been told and what I've seen, they're primarily going to be using us to learn, teach their AI on, which is kind of a cool thing. I'm sure that's not going to be the end of that, but so that's exciting. I don't hate that idea. Google doesn't have perhaps the best track record when it comes to gaming, but and again, perhaps Eve Online isn't the main thing that's sparking a little spark in their eyes. Maybe it's Frontier, which, let's be clear, is a blockchain-based enterprise, not so much an AI based one. But those two worlds, not really a crypto thing either, despite what you may have heard. It's there's a lot of crossover in those worlds, so perhaps that's true. I don't really know the details, and I'm sure maybe we'll hear more about that in the coming days. So that's exciting. That's one thing. The other thing, which we don't want to forget in all that rush to news, is the new player system, the Exordium, and details about that, how that's going to work, how all this NPC action in JITA and the Syndicate and Taki and all the things that are happening there, all that plays in together, and what that means for the future of EVE Online and how that's going to be integrated into the game. The idea of it, the concept of it, is quite intriguing. And goodness knows I've written a blog post about this before, stretching all the way back over a decade. So to see it finally realized, we'll see the details. The devil is in the details. The devil is in the details. So we'll find out more in a couple of days. So I'm excited about finding out more about it. And then there's always the thing that was sort of hinted about before all of this news and kind of got lost, and I don't know that it's been really talked about a whole lot, is that there were a lot of hints leading up to some changes to warfare and factional warfare specifically. And so I'm curious if that's still on the burner or if that's something that's been pushed off to another date. So we'll find out about that too. Goodness knows there needs to be some changes. Changes, updates, I think more the updates might be a better way to represent that. But, there are quite a few classes of ships that sadly have very little role anymore. And I think that they're struggling to find that role for, almost said aircraft carriers, for carriers. But I think also some things that have gotten forgotten in that mix is pirate ships. We're seeing a lot of nightmares in Nullsec these days, and that's an amazing ship. I love flying my Nightmare. It has a lot of utility, and it's a pretty cool thing. But there's a lot of things that need to be addressed in factional warfare space, in LowSec particularly. I would just really be happy if they would just spend a little time thinking about wormholes, or, what to do with Pochfin, or, does anybody even remember there's a system called Zarzak, which was a super useful and awesome experience for a while, and then the doors got shut on it, and it's not so much anymore. So I don't know. There's a lot. Eve is an ancient place, 23 years that it's been out there. And so I'm curious to see, now that Fenris Games or Fenris Creations is independent, and our guys are back in charge, which they've effectively always been. So what plans do they have for us? What exciting things are they going to tease us with? Are we going to address some of those long lingering things, or are we just moving boldly into the future and forgetting about those? So I don't know. We'll all find out together this coming week. And I appreciate all of you for stopping in, Pirates Corner. Like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, please. I appreciate all your comments and support. As always, I answer every single comment that requires an answer. Sometimes people just say, I like this, or something. But if you ask me anything in the comments, I will respond. I'm available on Discord. It's Rixx Javix, one word. You can DM me anytime. I know I am way behind on some commissions. I promise you that I will be getting to those. I had a few paying jobs that came up that slowed me down. So those always get priority, as you can imagine. I can't live on ISK. Appreciate your patience. I will get to you, I promise. And in the lead up to Fanfest, there were a lot of, not as many as some years, but a lot of, hey, Rixx, can you help me do this and get this ready for a T-shirt or a poster or, any number of things. There's always a lot of people who need some help, and I'm always here to help if I can. Getting ready for Fanfest. So everyone, have safe travels. Let's hope that we hear a lot of really cool things about the future of EVE Online for the next 23 years. And I appreciate all of you. Thank you for joining me on what's now every 2 weeks, Pirates Corner. And I got a lot of really cool videos in the pipeline. I'm going to be doing some experimental stuff, I hope. I have some new art things on the horizon and some fun videos for some just rewards, and just a little mixed bag, my usual mixed bag. I think the response to some of the new series that I've put up has been great, and I appreciate you. I'm going to be spending more time trying to find a way to help new players with my help series, which is where that came from. The first one of those is up. It was sort of just a good starting place, a general what to do if you're being attacked in Eve. So be sure to check that out. And we'll see where that takes us. And then the Landmark series, too. The Molia one is going to be coming up here shortly. And some new music. Crazy and I will be getting together immediately after. We're holding off on the recording, which we usually do Tuesday nights. We're going to do the day after Fanfest so we can respond to whatever it is that we did learn. And so check that out. That'll be us talking about Fanfest. So thank you all. Have a great rest of your week. And for those traveling, safe travels. Fly safe, everyone. Take care.